Welcome back to Warhammer Rogue Trader. Last time we got back on the ship from Footfall and we had different talks with people. We got our ship back up and running and everything should be good. Then we talked to Argenta where she talked about how she almost found Saint Argenta's ship and artifact on a planet, but she got ambushed, so we got to go back and help her out and find it, which will probably give us a big boon. Then we went back after that and talked to who was it? Oh yeah, Heinrich's the interrogator for the Inquisition, and he talked about how he's basically on our ship to advise us and keep us working and to track down Drukari and all that. And then we were talking to Jay about her thing. She just wants a writ to become a official trader in the Imperium instead of a smuggler, and she'll help us out. And after this, after talking to Jay a little bit more to learn her background, we have we have 3 planets to visit, which we're probably going to stop at Kiava Gamma first because it's under attack currently. And there's also, I guess, other stuff we can go find too. So, anywho, she's willing to give us good relations with one of these people. So, does it tell me? It won't tell me. Okay. I think I have low with the Drusians, and I have low with the Fellowship of the Void. No, the Casbelica. Yeah, so it's either these two. I know Casbelica is pretty good, but everything is super duper expensive, so I think I'll go with the Drusians. Not a problem, Shireen. I'll have my people put in a good word for you in the right circles. 2,000 faction reputation with the Drusians. I'll humbly wait until you steer your vessel towards Dargonus, the Mercantum Tabula Officiale. It almost sounds as majestic as the Warren of Trade. Yeah. Yep. We'll go talk to her and double check with Abelard, I think. I don't know who else would want to talk to us, but we're just going through the rounds. Shay was down here.
May the Exalted One protect you. Have you grown bored without our little talk, Shireen?
You don't look like your typical smuggler.
No truer words have ever been said. I'm far more exciting than some small-time peddlers from Footfall. Allow me to introduce myself properly. I am Jai Amira Fatqin Tamiri Ash Ifrit, the 12th daughter of the Lord of Ifrit, a distant world at the fringes of the Imperium. The youngest child is destined to become a bargaining chip in the family's political games. But I was unwilling to accept such a fate, and wanted to choose what to become and which path to follow. When I learned the Exalted One watches over hundreds of other worlds amidst distant stars, I understood there was an entire world of opportunities beyond Ifrit. All I had to do was break the familial bonds tying me down and escape the planet. Which I did a long time ago.
Why did you choose to come to the Koronus Expanse?
The Koronus Expanse. A gorgeous name, isn't it? But this backwater wasn't my original destination when I escaped, Shireen. Oh no, it was the rumors of incredible freedom that brought me to the Koronus Expanse. Freedom that is generously bestowed upon everyone who can survive in these parts. All doors are open here. You can become a saint, a mogul, a kingmaker, or anyone you like, really. Here, hard work pays off, Unless you're used to lying by the roadside and complaining instead of toiling for the good of your soul, glory, wallet, or whatever floats your boat. I'm used to working hard, and so I found my blessing.
Fair enough. How did you escape from Ifrit?
I convinced my father I personally wished to oversee the inspection of imported goods. I had to get experience so I wouldn't bring shame on our family, didn't I? I made friends with traders, missionaries, and soldiers at the port. I listened to their stories, studied the charts, learned what documents I had to forge to escape the planet. A kind word here, a shiny coin there. And here I am, in the iron belly of a ship, braving the void in search of a new life.
Judging by your implants, you've had quite a few close shaves over the years.
Consider it a mark of my trade. This year, Xenos. Dumb-headed orcs. Who knew that we weren't the only ones to get tempted by the wreck of that raider? As for this treasure, I received it as a reward for a life that had been just a little too good. I was in a hurry to get to the Adeptus Amasacus after the Exalted One blessed me with immense wealth. I was 2 backstreets away from the den when a pathetic ashmag attacked me, envious of somebody else's fortune. I learned my lesson and started taking the longer way around. Except I haven't had any big windfalls since.
Thank you.
All relationships are based on mutual trust. That goes for business too. The youngest... All relationships are based on mutual trust. That goes for business too.
I've seen enough of the shiny wrapping of the Koronus Expanse. Tell me about its dark side.
The dark side is the real Koronus Expanse, if you ask me. But what do you want to know about it, Shireen?
How do they do things on Footfall?
Dynasties drink with criminals. Rogue traders strike deals with the Casbalica. And dozens of ships stop off for a welcome break from a long voyage. Is there a more beautiful place in the entire Imperium? The Emperor is merciful to the meek and the powerful alike. There's a job for everyone as long as they have a head on their shoulders. And if you feel like talking to him in person, the statue of the Exalted One can be seen from any asteroid. You can pray to your heart's content.
Tell me about the Casbilica mission.
An ancient crime cartel that originated with the first settlers of the Calixis sector. It is run by shadowy clans with robber barons at the helm. Cross their path, and you risk making enemies all over the Koronus Expanse, or even the entire Imperium. As for the agents, they are just shameless, greedy scum. Every third person on Footfall is a Casbalican, but that doesn't mean all that rotten filth is acting together. I've been set up more than once just so some Casbalican can get one over on his rivals. And yet, the Casbalica is generous to its customers. If you can afford it. Anything can be obtained, organized, and transported for the right price. The customer is always right, unless they happen to be a rat. In which case...
Scum, rotten filth, rats. It's almost as if Jay's mask briefly slipped, and she started using words that have no place in the vocabulary of someone from the upper strata of the Imperium. Are you one of the Casbilica's robber barons?
What gave you such an outrageous idea? Was it my immaculate garment? My gorgeous jewelry? Do not worry, Shireen. I will let you know once I become a baroness, should the Exalted One will it. Just imagine the strong and fruitful alliance that could be forged between a rogue trader and the mastermind of the Casbalica.
How did you become a Casbilican agent?
It's not hard to do on Footfall. I spent a year working for good old Christo. He was a brave soldier who gave up the ghost in a scuffle with orcs, and then took over his business. Having a good head on your shoulders and keeping the Exalted One in your heart helps to establish new contacts quickly. Eventually, I gathered together a group of honest and loyal people, and it only took a few successful contracts for the Casbalica to take notice. I quickly settled on Footfall and started dispensing my wisdom to my protégés and subordinates. I lost the taste for getting my hands dirty.
Tell me about the coal trade.
It really is simple, Shireen. The Kasbalika runs the Imperium's black market, offering special goods to those who can afford their services. Yes, I am talking about Xeno artifacts too. Alien weapons, technology, sometimes even certain kinds of living creatures. Unlike the rogue traders whose sacred warrants make them immune even from the laws of the Exalted One, Kasbalikan agents are used to hiding and covering their tracks. Nobody wants to draw unwanted attention, no matter who might take an interest. Especially now that the Koronus Expanse has a warrior of the Golden Throne as its watchman. Why not? The decision is yours, Shireen.
Tell me about your business in the Koronus Expanse.
My trade means knowing the right people and non-people. Having the right connections and making sure the precious goods find their way into the hands of my no less precious customers. My wisdom includes the knowledge of the enemies of humankind, be they Xenos or the lowest scum in the Imperium, as well as the latest knowledge about how much they charge for any particular curio at the footfall market. Not even the most cunning Aji will deceive you as long as I am with you, Shireen. I promise you that. Whatever I have can be yours too, if your unfathomable wealth isn't enough for you already, I mean.
Do you have business with the enemies of humanity?
It has been known to happen. After years of dealing with Xenos, I've learned their customs, and even got a grasp of their language. Except they cringe whenever I start speaking. Arrogant sods. They dislike even our voices, but they never turn away our valuables. Then again, I'm used to seeing sour faces. In this trade, the easily offended go out of business.
Perhaps your knowledge will serve us.
I have no doubt you will have to deal with Xenos sooner or later. When that time comes, Shireen, you will thank the Exalted One for sending me to stand at your side.
You have many talents.
Thank you, Shireen. Being able to read and write is chief among them. You may not be aware, but this science is beyond the abilities of billions of the Imperium subjects. And yet they happily keep drudging along in their factories, fundi, and assembly lines. Me? I didn't escape Ifrit to consign myself to such misery. It was literacy that paved my path to copied orders, forged signatures, counterfeited papers. The wonderful things that make the wheels of bureaucracy turn in the right direction.
Are you really that rich?
Compared to the rabble on footfall, perhaps. Compared to you. Be it power or money, I still have a long way to go. I could purchase one of Footfall's asteroids, but not a planet. I could subjugate a few gangs from the shady districts, but not Vladium. And so the answer to your question is no. I do not consider myself rich. I am not rich enough.
You could be sitting back reaping the fruits of your own work, so why have you chosen to embrace the vicissitudes of life aboard a void ship?
You're fun to talk. I grew tired of scribing endless contracts and agreements neatly tucked away on Footfall. Well, I did that for how many years? But here, among the stars, you are always balanced on a knife edge. Nothing thrills me more than the tension of a warp jump, or the danger that lurks around every corner on a planet. Footfall was beginning to make me fat and stupid, Shireen. I do not want that.
Jay speaks measurably with just the right amount of laziness in her voice, but her performance cannot conceal the slight tremble in her voice. Whatever Jay is afraid of, that is what drove her off of Footfall. I'd guess the Liege, if I was to take a guess. What about your gang that stayed back at Footfall? Do you trust them?
Do I trust the Trickster twins? By the Exalted One, no. The underhanded rogues of Footfall came up with that name for a reason. The tricks of those frenzied ashmags are all about things far more intriguing than the honest and law-abiding subjects of the Imperium can imagine. On the other hand, this is why I am keeping them close. Kor and Tora know who lifted them out of the cesspit proudly called the Shadow Quarters, and who has been feeding that ravenous beast their insatiable lust for lucre. No, they are not going to betray me if only because they know I am now a part of your entourage, Shireen. They're not going to let the biggest pie in the Imperium pass them by without trying to get a slice for themselves.
Tell me about the Xenos of the Koronus Expanse.
Vicious, cruel, dangerous beasts. Humans hold little interest for Xenos. We are entertainment for them, a means to keep boredom at bay. A commodity. But some of them contact us once in a while using their own people. Do not deceive yourself by thinking you are safe because there are no Xenos inside. Those Agi are as cunning as they are ruthless. They cleverly pull at the strings of spies and traitors, subjugate those who do not fall for the promised reward, transform the ones who resist their promises into soulless puppets. The Emperor watches over me, and that is why I still haven't succumbed to the fate of many of my associates who have lost their lives to the stringy scoundrels. I think we've said all there is to say on this topic.
You're telling me tales about your colorful past, but I feel not all these stories are true.
Listen, Shireen, the giver of happiness and the dearest of my friends. I am who I am. A cold trader, a Casbalican agent, and your partner. We each have a past, and that past is sealed. I'm not prying into your soul, am I? Well, have pity on mine. It has already been gnawed at by the Agi. And if you don't like the sound of that, we'll just go our separate ways. Deal?
Okay.
All relationships are based on mutual trust. That goes for business too.
Did you know Theodora von Valancius, my predecessor?
It is difficult not to be aware of the powers that be, especially ones like Lord Captain Theodora. But we never met personally, as the difference between our positions was far too great. Theodora was a mighty ruler, the center of her own universe, and I, a pathetic speck, was nothing next to her. But you were kind to me, Shireen, and in my eyes, that puts you above your esteemed aunt, or whoever she was to you.
You keep using words I don't understand, like calling me Shireen.
The language on Ifrit, my home world, is quite different from the one spoken in the Koronus Expanse. We bestow more than one meaning upon each word, allowing our wise men to fully express their sagacious thoughts, and us lowly dabblers, our base passions and desires. Take Agi, for example. That is what I call every piece of scum and villain, because Agi means evil and foe and pathetic worm unworthy of consideration. Or take Ashmag. It means fool and little brother and blind man who stumbled and would fall into a pit without guidance. Shireen means friend and comrade and roommate in a battle formation, like we are.
Okay. Get off my ship. No.
Oh, I have no doubt you will.
Chill, bro. I don't hop girls like that. I'm good. Let's go to the shrine. I can maybe take these guys out to just get upgrades.
It's about time!
Alright.
What is it, rogue trader?
Yeah, so yours is about basically getting up in people's faces and changing weapons on the fly and all that. So That works. You get 6 weapon skill and 10 ballistic skill until end of combat, so that's just always there. Bonus to armor. This bonus is kept when uses cautious approach or confident approach. That would be 5 plus, at this point it's 1, so it'd be 6%. What am I at right now? 20%. Bonus to crit damage. Armor reduced by any effects. Deals plus 10% damage on top of the reduced armor. Attacks targets that have deflection reduced. Gets plus 2 damage. Whenever it attacks, has a dodge, parry, okay. Killing an enemy with a melee attack makes range attacks this turn cost minus 1 AP, and vice versa. Will I get another? No, I won't get another. Do I have double weapon? Dual weapon combat. There you go. Until end of combat, the Archmilitant can make 1 additional attack each turn. And that's a heroic. Okay. You have your Grand Strategist. I mean, there are never people in my backline areas, so that'd be okay. Gains 1 random unknown stratagem and can use that at the end of combat. Okay. Oh, I'll use that next time, I guess. Got that. So you are an officer. That does voice of command, all that. Finest hour. Desperate measures, okay. Move. Take aim, bring it down. Okay. Yeah, can I look at what you had before? So you got the range is increased. You're harder to hit. Honestly, I'm gonna reset you. Yeah. Because I might want to set you a different way. Anywho. That's everyone. I think I'm gonna use Danrock to reset her to put it the way I want it. Nothing new here. Nothing new around here. Okay. Then let's go to the chapel. Same people, sure. See if Zachary Weiss has anything to say to us. Nope, nothing. Okay, I'm gonna go back to the bridge. Then we can try to reset her whole thing that she's going on, because she might have a good setup, but I feel like I can do better. I'll also look at her gear, see her, like there's a kind of like a theme that's going on with her gear or not. I'm not sure. Maybe I can give her better gear and then build around that. All I know is she's an officer, which means we have 3 officers. Which is meh. Like, we get it. They're useful for giving people moves and stuff, but they don't do anything themselves, really. I would... No. That is the thing where, like, you can get a secondary person if you want, but I'm not going to do that because that's a little cheatsy, I feel like. Do you not have that? Oh yeah, my retinue are in need of training. There you go. And J. Yes. I forgot to look at what you got. 1 day passed. Okay, boom, boom. Commerce. You're 90 commerce. That is pretty good. Bring it down. Finest hour. I thought I was supposed to get a reset. Is it just a reset on these? That sucks. Well, if you're all about giving people extra stuff, well, you do have 95 evade and stuff, and you got pretty good. You got ballistic skill, not weapon skill. That's the problem. You do have a Eldari sword. I'll give you Master Tactician. Maybe. Yeah. You're kind of like a soldier. Give somebody wounds. Keep people alive, be a healer. That could work. I'll do that. So you start with some stacks. Oh my gosh, sorry. I don't know why, but it didn't let me. You just have a regular armor gloves, so I can give you anything. That would be improvement. 25, 30, and 10. That's better so far. 35, 25, 30, and 10, but you get dodge if your agility is more than 40, which it is. That's better. You get parry and dodge against melee attacks, which does help. You want lighter armor, I feel like. Yeah. Alright, we'll do that. Then you got 2 guns. You got a shuriken pistol and a splinter pistol. One does toxin. One does the same thing, but it does one more shot. Honestly, I feel like I might replace that shuriken pistol. Warp lore? You don't have any warp lore. You got a crazy Imperium lore. That means if I have you on my team, which I'm thinking about doing actually, you can be fine. You'll be fine. Inflict bleeding. Medicaid. I mean, you might as well. You don't have anything else to put on there. You don't have taunt. You have decent logic, but it's not better than Pascal's. Warp lore plus willpower bonus. I don't know what willpower bonus is. Is that just every 5 equals 1? Willpower bonus 3? Okay, so it'd be 3 more warp lore, which is not even that good. Coercion, but minus awareness. I could deal with that. It actually kind of fits you. Movement. Yeah. Hits an enemy, the wearer gains against the next range attack of the enemy. Okay. You're not doing collision. You're not doing that. Immune to grenades. Each heroic act increases dodge whenever they use endurance. No. So yeah. You're immune to grenades, so you'll be our grenadier. This attack deals. Nah. Okay, you. What do you have? Grants 15 crit hit chance to range attacks against enemies with less wounds. Warp lore. You have decent warp lore. Willpower is +5. +6, so you get 6 warp lore. But you have 61. You don't have logic. And then officer is increased by 1. Plus 10% dodge. Yeah. Give you those because you're good with, well, that's the only thing you really can do. Who has that then? You don't care about that. Take it off. That should go on you. Then you do have this. Deals warp damage. The damage character also does burning. Or should I give him more wounds when fail degradation is above 15. It just has to be a heretical follower, which I only have one of. Because everyone's Mr. Goody Two-Shoes. Okay. Anywho, I'll give you better sword. You got a Drukari sword here, a Venom Blade. Yeah, I'll give you that. There. Do you think I should split them? Have like one sword, one pistol for each? I feel like I should. Yeah. Take off. Take off. Put the pistol thingy. The splinter pistol. No. Eldari chainsword. There you go. Yeah, that was the right one. And then you take the splinter sword. This does more. Yeah. Give you the blast one instead, I think. Because that shoots 7 times, saying they all hit, which they probably won't. That is 42 to 63 damage. But this is guaranteed 15 to 25 damage almost. Dark light, so it shoots in a line. I feel like I want to take that instead. And that would help with this thing. I'll give you a plasma grenade. Alright, who wants better swords? You have your cool, you know, Veil Render sword. Which is cool, actually. Yeah, I don't want to replace that. What about your other pistol, though? The Ripper Auto Pistol. I gotta have a better pistol than that, right? Like this. 4 to 6, less fire rate. Okay, that's the difference. Stub revolver. That's a 3-shot, actually. 3-shot, that does 30 to 42 damage. That, if it hits every one, which it probably won't, hits for 24 to 40. Yeah, so this is just better. Yeah, no better armor, right? Yeah, I doubt it with that agility bonus. Unless you don't even have good agility. Yeah, you don't. The parry is good, but let's see if you got a better one. 35, 15, 15. You don't get the parry, but you do get more armor, and you get reducing damage. Let me see if you can put on this heavy, though. Dodge penalty, sure. You get more armor. More reducing damage. Immune to burning. And bonus to melee attacks. Bonus armor against melee. Okay, yeah. I mean, it won't do anything for you, but we'll put those on. You don't have that. That's good. gives me +5 persuasion. Up to 100. Great, we're breaking it. 1 second, it broke. Sorry. There you go. You saying there's 15 to weapon skill, which gives us 16. Is there anything close to that that'll make it better despite losing that? It is pretty insane, actually. Does more damage, less armor penetration, crit, parry, weapon skill, and penalty to armor. That might be close to breaking it. I'm not giving you a knife. You do need something with bleed, that is true. You do actually need to keep that on. So the only thing I could replace is an axe that does a wider range, which could be worse, less armor penetration, and yeah, that or the knife, I guess, can do bleeding. 7 to 15, less armor penetration, but no specials. So yeah, you're gonna probably keep that on then. You like what you have on. Okay, yeah. I'll give you the better lightning staff, I feel like. You, for your staff, have just the regular lightning staff, right? So I actually could put this in cargo because I have a bunch floating around. Then that means I can have a lightning staff, or do I want to have a siphon life staff, or... Yeah, it's the only thing. I could have a siphon life staff instead, but that's weird. And you like your greatsword, I'm pretty sure. Nothing else even comes close. 12 to 16, less damage, less... Has some cool stats, but yeah, nah. But that does raise a question, is that better than your chainsword? So far, yeah. Chain. Yes, this one's just better. There's gotta be a better gun by now than the Ripper, right? Sorry if I'm taking too long with this. I was trying to narrow everything out. 10 to 16, less rate. So do 40 to 64. 40 to 64 damage. 40 to 64. That does 40 to 56. It's actually just better overall there. This does have more range, but less ammo. Has more recoil too. Don't want a shotgun. This is worse. That's a sniper. That's an auto gun. 5 to 8, 7. So that'd be 35 to 56 versus 40 to 56. Yeah, so worse. So, another auto gun. 4 to 6. Yeah, worse. Okay. I think I'm done messing with everyone's stuff. Yeah. One thing. Sorry. I think I'm gonna start bringing Jay along. The only question is, who do I take out? But, besides that, she has crazy commerce, which means honestly I shouldn't even be wearing this, but should I give it to Cabela? Five agility. I mean, I guess. Anywho, if I'm gonna keep Jay on from now on, and she has crazy commerce, she has 90 plus 90 coercion, and I have 80 plus whatever. I could take this off, but I lose my Imperium stack, which she beats anyway. She's just me, but better so far. I can take these off and honestly give it to her. I think it would be better. Stacks even more. Yeah, so now she has 90 coercion and 100 commerce. And then for me, I could put that on, but it's not gonna help me too much. I have good persuasion. You have logic. I think I'll have Cabela. Should I have Abelard along? Abelard is my tank, but I have two now, possibly. No, she'll be in the back. Never mind. I was gonna say two, possibly three people in the front. It'd have two people in the front, four in the back. That's fine. Anyway, talking to Abelard.
Lord Captain.
I have discovered that there are caches left by Theodora somewhere on Dargonus and Kiava Gamma. Do you know anything about this?
It is wise for a rogue trader to have caches where they can safely store important information. And utterly unwise to share the coordinates of such caches with anyone. Even one's most trusted associates.
Sorry.
I'm afraid I do not know how to find the caches, but I can offer some help. Your predecessor used this numeric code to deactivate certain defense systems in her service. If I know Lady Theodora as well as I think, then I'm quite certain that she left her caches well guarded.
Makes sense.
In that case, this code will be useful to you.
Got it. Anything else?
Lord Captain?
No.
Lord...
I think that was everyone. Yeah. And I explored the ship besides the freight line, but I don't know if I should keep going down there because that seems like DLC stuff, but anywho. Lord Captain, we are once more within reach of the Von Valancius Protectorate. Utmost urgency is restoring communication with your planets and bestowing the wisdom of your decrees upon their stewards, developing colonies, claiming new territories, and establishing trade links. All this is now your privilege and burden. I got 3 more extraction things. Got it. Should I try again? I'll try again. Oh, wait. Before I do that, and I get intercepted again, because I bet that will happen, I'm gonna just see if anybody has that. You have good, but this gives me an extra thingy. Speediest reload. It's a little bit less, but she gives me a special ability, it seems like. Okay. 97 and you give me shields. 70 and you give me a turn. 62 in that ability. 80 in that ability. Yeah. Yeah, you also got a new component, right? It's down here. The Mars Prow battery. Short range macro cans which fire 4 shots dealing 14 each. Versus 4 plasma torpedoes doing 19 each. There's 4 doing 14 each, short range. I think that's also very close range for this. If it's the one I'm thinking of. Then you got the laser in the front. Short range. Short range. Short range. Yeah, so these are the ones that just are right in front of me. But this, I feel like, might be a little bit better. So I'll take those instead. Arsenals, nothing there. Okay, now I feel safer. Same thing, still locked out. Okay, I tried. Should I put one on here? It says it's dead, but maybe doing this terraforms it? No, I think literally it's dead. I didn't have an option to do anything. Here we go, Koronus Expanse map. So we are in the Furibundus. Gotta chart new routes. Ooh, cool. To the Imperium. What's that 6 mean? System. No. What's that mean? What's that mean? I'm scared. What's this? Koronus Expanse. Nope. Mechanical Dictionary. Nope. Words of the Expanse. Dead Worlds. 2. Jungle World 1. Of Rycab Minoris and that. Tutorial. Oh. Colonization. Okay. I'm just trying to see what that means. Does that mean I got 6 turns before I got dock or I die? Or what? Or is that a timer for when the next planet will fall? Because I don't want that either. I guess I'm gonna have to see. So the more I do it. Okay, unsafe to the Imperium. Cradle, Kelphi, Platinum Stellos. There's a lot here, bro. I don't know what I'm doing. We're trying. Lord Captain, the ship's senior officers request an audience with you. They are humbly awaiting you on the bridge. I don't know what I'm doing with that. I hope I didn't do anything bad. Come on. Load. Bro, my guy. Lord Captain, if I may request your attention for a moment, I must report a series of highly dangerous violations that have taken place in the fuel compartment. The Master at Arms is ignoring my demands, and I am thus forced to appeal directly to you. The fuelers have founded a sect of some kind. This group practices fire worship of the Emperor and has been burning promethium near the fuel lines. I beg you to stop this madness before we all go up in flames. I should point out that there has been no incidents in the fuel compartment so far, and that the beliefs of this sect do not affect the obedience of the workers or their efficiency in any way. All assemblies are conducted strictly after hours with the permission of their superiors. However, if you find the practices unacceptable, we will put a stop to them. Why are they are burning my promethium? The amount of residue accumulated in the drainage tanks was so laughably small that it was not even worth recording. If there were any real misappropriation of the ship's resources happening here, I would have already punished those involved, Lord Captain. Does the ecclesiarchy recognize this cult, or is it considered heretical? This matter is beyond my purview. Let Confessor Adalbert be the judge of such business. The Emperor protects your lordship. I can assure you that there is no heresy festering in the fuel compartment. The sect of fire prophecies has been tested for purity and found to be in accordance with the creed. Their leader, who calls himself the Oracle of Fire, is devout and submissive to his servants. They do not twist the sacred teachings, and as for their chosen forms of worship, these are neither rare nor remarkable. Many such minor cults exist in the Imperium with the full approval of the ecclesiarchy. Does the Oracle of Fire really make the prophecies? At least he and his flock believe that the Emperor reveals glimpses of the possible future to him in the sacred flame. Occasionally his visions do come true, or so his followers convince themselves. We do not know whether the grace of the God Emperor truly lies upon him, or if he is merely a charlatan, or perhaps a blissful lunatic, or a wicked rogue who possesses psychic power not tempered by his will. We'll see in the next